Shalom, all praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to the apostle elder to GMS that taught me this truth, and shalom to the Akim that has their life daily, pushing the truth for sincerity, and a few Akwas listening and learning. Shalom. Once again, my name is Aina. I'm with GMS Detroit Barcamp. Pray this video be edifying to the hopeful net, the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, the four corners of the whole world. And this video is on this book right here, on a review of this book. I haven't even got into it good enough, and man, scriptures was hitting me left and right, and I'm just gonna read a little of this in this book and then come with scripture, because everything that they did to us, they're gonna have to pay for, and scripture say you reap what you the Most High shall not be mocked. Whatsoever. Matter of fact, let me just get it. This is. Hold on, I got the scripture written down in my book. Right here, Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, shall he also reap. For he that soweth to the flesh shall the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth the spirit shall reap of the spirit. He that soweth to the spirit shall the spirit reap life everlasting. and let us not be weary. And doing so in due season, we shall reap if we faint not. And this scripture had me had this scripture screaming in my mind, and also Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievous which they have subscribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that the widows may be widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. What will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from afar? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? And man, this scripture, this book right here, man, is something, crazy. Let's get back to the book. Cover of the book. Quote from Thomas Jefferson, one of the presidents of the United States of America. He made this quote in 1820. We have the wolf by the ear. We can neither hold him nor safely let him go. Justice is in one scale, and self-preservation is in the other. And they did a lot of things to Jay throughout the moment they so-called supposed to have freed the so-called Negroes. But whatever you did, the Most High is about balance. Whatever you did, He's going to do it according to you, just like the way He did it unto him. If you sow, you gonna also reap the same. Matter of fact, let me read it a little bit of the introduction, the first page of Slavery by Another Name. Bricks we stand on. In March 30, 1908, Green Cottenham was arrested by the sheriffs of Shelby County, Alabama, charged with vagrancy. Cottenham had committed no true crime. Vagrancy was an offense of a person not being able to prove that a given moment or he or she is employed. It was a new flimsy and concoction dredged up from local obscurity at the end of the 9th century by the state legislators of Alabama and other southern states during Jim Crow was capriciously enforced by local sheriffs, constables, adjudicated by mayors, notoriety public, recorded phase haphazardly, not at all the court's records. Most tellingly, in the time of massive unemployment among all Southern men, was reserved mostly exclusively for black men. Cottenham's offense was blackness. And he brought all this stuff down on him because he was a so-called person of color. We don't consider ourselves black. That's the narrative that the so-called white man put us in a negative manner. And we consider ourselves people of color because Jake, we could go from light brown to dark brown. You know, we different phases. We like a speckled bird. You know, the scriptures say, "My people is like a speckled bird unto me." Because our complexion goes from real light to real dark brown. You know, I never met a black man in a day in my life. You know, never ever met a person the color of this book, or met a white person the color of them white letters in this book. Never have I met them. You know, ever in my lifetime. You know, but these was the ways the so-called white man empowered himself off of the backs of Jake. You know, writing unrighteous decrees. Matter of fact, let me get it right quick. Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievous which they have prescribed, and then to turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And man, coming soon, you're gonna have to repay everything that you did unto us. You know, and real true reparations. We don't want your reparations. You don't want your fake money, which is not about to be money. The United Nations said they should start talking about giving reparations to the so-called Afro-Americans. We don't want that reparation. We want true reparation. True reparation is we take your wealth and you work for us for free, for no pay. You know, that's true reparations. But we're going to get that when the Most High finally allow Yahweh shall return. You know, because the scriptures say, seeing it is a righteous thing. First, is it 2 Thessalonians 1:6? Yeah, 2 Thessalonians 1:6. You know, 2 Thessalonians 1:6. Seeing it's a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that troubled you. And we waiting for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to recompense tribulation to you because y'all troubled us. and that's gonna be payback. Matter of fact, let's get that word recompense. You know, El apostles always say getting the meaning of words. So we're gonna go into the meaning of that word right there. And this is what your so-called white people is fearing right now because according to scriptures, matter of fact, before I get that, Revelations 10 and 13. No, 13 and 10, Slakia. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. You led us into captivity. You're going into captivity coming real soon. But the Most High is going to do it Himself unto you because the things that you did to us. First Thessalonians 1 and 6, seeing it's a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that troubled you. And to you who are troubled, rest with us, when the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels, and with in a flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not Yahweh and obey not the gospel of our power, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. And 9, who shall be punished with the everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of His power. And man, I just can't wait when true righteous judgment comes upon you. Because we know that we went off and Yahweh Shem Yahshai put this on us because we didn't walk in the law, statutes, commandments like we said we was. When Moses sprinkled the blood on them, we made that blood oath with Moses, through Moses, with the Most High. So what happened? We went into captivity. And coming soon, y'all going into captivity because every last one of you you can't say that you didn't mean it because the scriptures say it was perpetual hatred that you had against us. This is Ezekiel 35 and 5, because thou hast perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of a sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, save Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And these are talking about you so-called Edomites, the so-called white man. How you love your state, bloody, rare. And you want to see blood in it. These things are going to come back on you. And I only just read a little of this, man. It get worse as I keep reading. In fact, let me get into a little bit more. Because man, the so-called white man don't get a pass. All your nations don't get a pass. I'm gonna go into the page 7 during the introduction. By the 1900s, matter of fact, let me go page 7. Instead of thousands of true thieves or thugs drawn into the system over the decade, records demonstrate the capture and imprisonment of thousands of random indigent citizens, most always under the thinnest chimera of probable cause or judicial process. The number of workers caught in the net had to total more than 100,000, perhaps more than twice that figure. Instead of evidence showing black crime waves or original records of county jails indicating thousands of arrests for inconsequential charges for violation of laws specifically written to intimidate blacks, changing employers without permission, veracy, riding freight cars without a ticket, engaging in sexual activity or loud talk with white women, repeatedly, the timing of scale of surges and interests appear more attuned to the rises and dips in the need for cheap labor than any demonstrable acts of crime. Hundreds of forced labor camps, counties, governments, large corporations, small-time entrepreneurs, provincial farmers, and these bulging slave centers became primary weapons of suppression of black aspirations. Where the mob violence or the Ku Klux Klan terrorized black citizens periodically to return of forced labor as a fixture in black life, a ground pervasively into daily lives of far more Afro-Americans, and the record is replete with episodes in which public leaders face the true choice between the path towards complete racial oppression, repression, or some degree of modest civil equality. Euphemistically choose the former. Those were not unavoidable events driven by invisible forces, traditions, and history. By 19,000, the South judicial system has been fully reconfigured to make one primary purpose of coercion of Afro-Americans to comply with social customs, labor demands of whites. It is not uncoincidental that 1901 also marked the final full disenfranchisement of nearly all blacks throughout the South. Since was handed down by provincial judges, local mayors, justices of the peace, often men in employ of white business owners who rely on forced labor produced by the judgments. Dockets and trial records were consistently maintained. Attorneys were rarely involved on the side of the so-called blacks. Revenues from neo-slavery poured equivalent of tens of billions of dollars into the treasuries of the Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, where more than 75% of the black population in the United States then lived. It went from putting this using laws, statutes, and making laws so they could put Jake into jail for they could profit off of him. Free labor. It went from working in the plantation to being a slave in the corporation. You know, working. This right here was going big on U.S. Steel. The way U.S. Steel had thousands so-called Jake Berry, you know, man, man, this book, man, it really, you know, had me going, man. Keep on reading. It also became apparent now, unextricably, that the quasi-slavery of the 20th century was rooted in nascent industrial slavery that had begun to flourish in the last years before the Civil War. And the same men who built the railroads with thousands of slaves and proselytized for the use of slaves in southern factories and mines in the 1850s were also the first to employ forced Afro-American labor in the 1870s. The South highly evolved system of custom of leasing slaves from one farm to the factory or to the next, bartering for the cost of slaves and wholesaling and retailing of slaves generated itself around convict leasing in the 1870s and the 1880s. The brutal forms of physical punishment against prisoners, and in 1910 were the same as those used against slaves in 1840. The anger and desperation of Southern whites that allowed self-outrage in the 1920s were rooted in the chaos and bitterness of 1866. These were the tendrils and the unilateral new racial impact that suffocated the aspiration from freedom among millions of American blacks as they approached the beginning of the 20th century. I begin to understand what explicable account of neo-slavery endured by Green Colton, which must begin much earlier than the Civil War, and should extend far beyond the end of his life. Most obvious how plainly the records show that the face of the rising Southern white assault on black independence, even black leaders increasingly expressing profound despair. 100 of aching requests for help poured into the federal agency of the Washington, D.C. Majority of white Americans exhausted from long debates over the roles of blacks in U.S. society, concede that descendants of slaves in the South would have accept the end of freedom. And man, in 1931, July 31, 1903, a letter to the President Theodore Roosevelt arrived to the White House from Cassie Kinsey, barely illiterate Afro-American woman, Bainbridge, Georgia. Her 14-year-old brother, James Robinson, has been abducted a year early and sold to a plantation. Local police would take no interest. Mr. President wrote Kinsey, she spelled it Prassident, wrote Kinsey, struggling to overcome illiteracy of the world. They won't let me have him. He has not done nothing for them to have him in chains. And she spelled chains, C-H-A-N-E-S. So I write R-I-T, so I write R-I-T to you for your help. Like the vast majority of such pleas, her letter was shipped in a small rectangular folder that Department Adjustment tagged a reference number in the case. No further action ever recorded. Her letter lies today in the National Archives. And the word with seizure is the scale of a black man, even a black child, was viewed neither criminal nor extraordinary that emerged. Millions of blacks live in the shadow of forced labor or their family members. Afro Americans in terror of a system caprice. The practice would not fully receive of the lives until the dawn of World War II, when the profound global forces began to touch the lives of black Americans. By the time the era of the international abolition movement, a century early, prior to the Civil War, and there was even people in down south that didn't even know they was free, and that's the reason why they these stupid ass niggas celebrated on Juneteenth, but June the 19th, because they didn't know they was free. But let's get scriptures on this in this video, and man, they got a lot to pay for, and I can't wait for judgment to be put out on them, because they gonna get everything they did to us. They gonna get it. You gonna reap what you sow. They could have did to anybody, but they did it to us. The so-called Negroes. Matter of fact, this is Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? And man, a lot of these so-called Jakes went to jail off of never committed a crime, went to jail, and then was sold into captivity again. And they was auctioning off of them. They was bidding over Jake to get Jake to put him in chains all over again. But this time it was legal because the court sold him into slavery. Man, I just can't wait. They gathered themselves together against the souls of the righteous and condemned the innocent blood. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is my defense, and my power is my rock and my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, our power shall cut them off. And coming soon, when Yahweh shall return, he's going to cut you off. You devils, for doing what you did. Going back to Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of the calamity, and the time when iniquity had an end. Our time of being a slave was at an end, and you still pursued it. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off it from him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And the Most High is going to give you great payback. Who make mischief by law, with your unrighteous decrees. Matter of fact, a few more scriptures I got written down. Psalms Psalms 9 and Psalms 9 and 16. Yahweh is known by judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his hands. And the wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forgot Yahweh Shem Yahushai. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. And Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executed, and your future judgment of all you, not only Esau, but all you nations. All you nations have a part in this. Y'all did this to us. You know, all you. You know, and captivity is coming to all you, and y'all going into slavery real soon. You know, it just wasn't Esau; it was all you nations. Esau couldn't do this all by himself. You know, he couldn't do this all by himself. He needed help. You know, this is Colossians 3 and 25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of person. And y'all did us wrong, and you're gonna receive. And Yahweh I am there on the first day of being delivered out of there. That my name is written in that book, and I get to see the very first day of y'all going into captivity. Hey, that's going to be the greatest day of my life to see. You know, watching y'all become slaves, putting them feathers of iron around your neck. You know, y'all going into captivity. Y'all making big rocks and little rocks. You know, where y'all being worked like we was worked. And man, hey, we ain't gonna do it. We ain't gonna do it unrighteously. We gonna do it righteously. When we do it, when we gonna do it, we gonna do it righteously upon you. You know, we ain't gonna be wicked when we do it. Nah. Matter of fact, this is Jeremiah 50. 50 and 33. 50 and 33. Yep. Thus say Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus say Yahweh Shem Yahushai of hosts. The children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. All that took them captive held them fast, and they refused to let them go. And y'all holding fast to us now, even to this day, and you refuse to let us go. They don't have the post slavery Jim Crow laws, but they got now the school to prison pipeline right now. You know, set up through these black rappers. You know, these gangster raps. They can only promote things such as violence. You know, to make us do stupid shit when we get locked up, and then they could still make us indentured servants to these corporations. VI to the 13th Amendment law. You know, where if you're a criminal, they can make you work for slave wages. You know, make a profit off of you. You know, coming soon, when judgment come upon you, you're gonna receive the same thing. This is it's Isaiah 33. Isaiah 33:1. Woe unto thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and deal treacherously, when they deal not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And coming soon, we're gonna do that. We're going to deal treacherously unto you. Not only just you, but also the other heathen nations too. Because like I said, it just wasn't you. All you nations had a hand in this. Psalms 83:1. Keep not silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. These unrighteous laws and decrees, crafty counsel against thy people. You know, and have and consulted against thy hidden ones, and said, and they said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And it just wasn't so-called white man. All you other nations, you heathen nations, had a hand in this too. You know, matter of fact, CLA clap. This is Lamentation 2:15. All that pass by thee clap their hands, and they hiss and wag their heads at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, this is the city that men call the perfection of beauty, and the joy of the whole earth. All thy enemies that open their mouth against thee, they hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day we look for. We have found it, we have seen it. Yahweh have done that which he have devised. He have fulfilled his word. He have commanded in the days of old. He has thrown down. He has not pitied. He has caused thy enemies to rejoice over thee. He has set up the horn of thy adversaries. And it just say adversary. It say adversaries. Because all you nations have a hand in this. And all you nations are going to go into captivity. You know? And that's it on this one. All praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honor to the Apostle Elders GMS that taught me the truth. And Shalom.